The 70% rule doesn't work anymore in wholesaling real estate. Guys, it's 2026 and the way you make offers is completely different than it was in 2023, 2022, or in the 1980s. Back in the good old days, in the 1960s and 70s, people used the 70% rule, but it's dead now. It doesn't work. And in today's video, I'm gonna share with you exactly the right rules you need to be using to make offers to motivate sellers in modern times in 2026, and exactly the way you should be doing your calculations so you can never get wrong on how much to offer your motivated sellers. So we're in this weird world where like AI is really good, but it's not able to comp or make offers like perfectly done. Maybe in the next like 5 or 10 years, X Leads or some awesome software can do it. But right now we still need to do it ourselves. And I'll be real, most people absolutely suck at making offers to their sellers. And we got to get in that right Goldilocks zone because most wholesalers make offers that are sometimes way too high. So they'll lock up the deal and the buyer receives the deal and they're like, this sucks. And you're great at closing because your offer is always too crazy high, but you can never sell your deal. And that absolutely sucks. And you got to renegotiate and the buyers think you're the boy that cries wolf that always sends crazy overpriced deals. Then on the other hand, you're that person that makes the crazy lowball offers. And I see this happen a lot. Like some wholesalers will just take the ARV, multiply it by 40% and like that's their offer. And they wonder why nobody, like no seller ever accepts their crazy offer. You gotta be in this Goldilocks zone where you make a lot of money, where you get really good deals and the buyers like to buy them, but also the sellers will accept them too. It's a very fair line. And I'm gonna share exactly the actual real percentages that I found in my 9 years in doing over 4,000 wholesaling real estate deals of experience. So you can be deadly right on the dock, sniper accuracy for your offers for wholesaling real estate. The thing is, a lot of people say to me, Zach, I want to be just like you when it comes to making offers and comping properties. Because the truth is, on any live stream, you can go give me an address and probably within 20 seconds, I kid you not, I could say, yeah, you should be around 250, 260 on an offer. MAO is probably 280, just like that. And if we're in a non-disclosure state, maybe 30 seconds to go pop up X Leads, look at some MLS comps. But the truth is, in under 30 seconds, I can just manually look at a property, look over a couple comps, and roughly get an MAO and an offer price really dang quick. Now, of course, that's me comping thousands and thousands and thousands of properties every single year and doing a ton of deals and knowing what works and what doesn't. But it's also understanding my buyer and knowing exactly what to do. So let's get into it and let's share exactly how to make the offers the right way. But before we break it down, do me a favor, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, and let's get into it. So first and foremost, I need to let everybody know the 70% rule absolutely sucks for wholesaling real estate. It is one of the worst rules I've ever seen. And it used to work when I got started in wholesaling real estate, but any real estate educator that tells you this is absolutely off their rocker and they're probably stupid old. I don't know any wholesaler that's like young actually doing deals that even tells it anymore. But let me explain. If you have a property and let's say the ARV of the deal, let's say $100,000, and the repairs to the property are let's say $20,000, that clearly means that the property ARV minus repairs is $80,000. And most likely a real estate investor roughly wants to make 25 to 40% margins on a lower price deal for something like that. So roughly the MAO in a deal like this is probably going to be around $50,000. Just roughly what a good MAO is. Because what he's going to do, he's going to put 20 into it. So he's going to be all in for about 70K. He's got about 12% costs. So 88, he'll make 18K on his investment of throwing like 70K on the deal. And he's pretty happy with those margins. He's roughly like 25% on that thing, which isn't bad at all. But the problem is in recent years, the price of housing has gone up so much that the 70% rule doesn't work. Now, if you're investing in Los Angeles, California in the 1930s, then sure, these numbers work. But the problem is with human beings, humans cannot understand percentages at all. And I've said this plenty of times and I'll continue to keep saying this. Percentages don't work at all. So if you know you got to be at that percentage base to make money, theoretically the 70% rule always works. What I say is humans don't understand percentages. So let's say, for example, this house now is worth triple. Let's say this house now is worth $400,000 and repairs are, let's say, $40,000. That means ARV minus repairs is $360,000. Let you make a new screen for this. So $400,000 is our ARV. Property needs, let's say, $40,000 in repairs. That gives you about $360,000 is the ARV minus repairs. So if you use the quote 70% rule, what would happen is you would multiply 70% of 400K. So you do 400K multiplied by 70% is equal to 280 grand minus $40,000. That means your max allowable offer, according to the 70% rule, is $240,000. $200,000. Now, I want you to raise your hand if you've done a wholesaling deal in 2025, 2026, right? Is there any way as a real estate investor that you as a wholesaler, and I'm just being real, you have a $400,000 ARV, repairs are $40K, are you locking up properties for $240,000? I'm telling you right now, if you gave me these deals, I would be raking in the money. I would probably pull in 200 mil this year. It's not that easy. I would just be a cash buyer. I wouldn't even be wholesaling anymore. The truth is, this is a unicorn. This is a fairy. This is a fugazi. It's not real, okay? It's like an Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl trophy. It's not a real thing. It's fake. There's zero chance you're locking up deals for these margins. But this is what all the real estate influencers tell you. Use the 70% rule, minus out your assignment fee. Like, it's ridiculous. Because theoretically, on this deal, I would buy it for $240,000. Maybe you locked it up for $200K, which sure, people are locking up properties half of the ARV when the repairs are not crazy. I would put $40K into the property, so I'd be $280. I'd put it on the MLS for $400K. I have 12% in closing costs, right? Realtors, commissions, doc stamps, all that crap. You're going out here and $352,000 is your net, minus $280, $72,000 on this flip. Now, I'll be real with you. It's really nice. It's really sexy. It's fun to like talk about this stuff, but to be honest with you, the average house flipper for a $400,000 house, after net, after the cows come home, they are not making $72,000 take home. You rarely see a flip where the person buys it for $240,000. They sell it for $400K 3 months later or 4 months later, and they basically double the purchase price within 3 or 4 months. It just doesn't happen in real estate investing. Now, if you had higher repairs, probably you can definitely make it work because the delta's there. $72K on a fast flip in 1 to 2 months is just not a realistic number. And if these were the real margins that house flippers would make, that would have tripled the amount of money that I make on my average wholesaling deal. And I'm a pretty smart guy. I would be flipping every single property I lock up. And the truth is, buyers are more likely to buy the deal, not at that 240 number, but more like 260 and 280. They're willing to go inside of this range, especially if they have better finishings and stuff like that. The truth is, the 70% rule was designed for one specific reason. You are dumb. That is what every real estate wholesaling educator thinks about you. I mean, not every single one, but most of them. I've been in these rooms with these real estate wholesaling YouTubers, and they all think you're bumbling idiots. I'm just being honest with you. They don't think you know how to comp or underwrite, and they always assume that you are going to overshoot what the ARV really is. So to compensate with you always having the ARV too high. So if you, as the dumb wholesaler, that's what these educators who tell you the 70% rule thing, if you are always, let's say, 10% higher than usual in ARV because you're comping like, oh, my house is worth more, they're going to make you shoot down 10% of your MAO just to compensate how much you suck at getting your ARV. And so this is the issue we have. When in actuality, 80% is probably a better margin and number. And I've been attacked for years over my 80% method. But the truth is, for wholesalers that actually know how to comp and underwrite correctly, 80% is the real number. If I thought you're an idiot and you're always going to comp way too high, sure, I'll tell you 70% all day till the cows come home. But the truth is, you in wholesaling real estate are not dumb. I don't think you're an idiot. I think you're a pretty smart guy. I don't think you can mess comping up because I don't mess comping up. 80% is a way better number. And of course it's tighter for a house flipper, but to be honest, that's where they're usually looking to buy. So let me show you 2 methods on how to calculate your offer price in 2026 so you don't screw it up. The first and probably the most tried way that I've always found is the 70% rule, by the way, still works if the ARV is low. But honestly, I always go with the 83, 75, and 70 rule. And what this basically means is, I know this is like some crazy calculation, but I have always found if the ARV is 120K or below, go nuts. Go use the 70% rule. 75, I would probably use 120K to probably 200K. You can use 75% rule for an ARV. At about 200K to roughly 300K, you're probably going to be about 80% rule. And then really 300K or above, you can get away with about 83% because you could start making some good money there. Now, there's some real estate markets like San Francisco, Austin that keep dumping, like Boise, Idaho. We probably got to be a little lower here. here, but honestly, this is honestly the rule I use. I don't do ARV times 70 minus repairs. I think that's super dumb. I've always used ARV minus repairs multiplied by a certain percentage. The reason is that's the actual real calculation. The truth is I use this calculation because these are the actual calculations that house flippers use, that real estate investors use when they're underwriting their own deals. And rather you actually think like them than pretend to think like somebody that's not going to actually flip the property. So let's use an example here. If we have a property where the ARV is 290 and repairs are 20K, what should your offer price be? 190 minus 20K, 270K multiplied by 80%. So 0.8, that's about 216. Now, I'll be honest with you. Should you go to a cash buyer and try to sell this deal for 216? Should you lock up the property for 216? No! Absolutely not! I'll be real with you. I want you to lock up this deal for $100,000 and then go out here and make 116 grand on the deal. But let's say you want to make a quick 40 smackaroos on this thing. Offer 186 and see what happens. Let that offer fly, baby. You see, I am always going to advocate for you to lowball your seller. I'm never going to advocate to have your MAO too high. You see, the reason why people on this YouTube channel in my community make so much money on their wholesaling deal, that's why Jesse right here, he's 18 years old. He made 35 grand his first month. His second month, he made 30 grand texting on X leads. The reason why we got 18-year-old kids making 35 grand on a deal and 30K on that deal is not because they get little razor thin margins. They offer, would you take 210? No, they're offering stupid low. And the point of offering stupid low, so if you have this little timeline, which I know is not straight, and you know MAO is 216, and let's say our initial offer is 150, we know if we offered, let's say 210, the seller's gonna say, well, could you counter with me? And can we meet in the middle at like 212 and you make 4K? You're not here to make 4K. If you offered 150 off the bat, you could probably negotiate and meet somewhere here, maybe 170, and go out here and make a quick $46,000. You see, you have no idea that the seller right here is going to take 170 for the property. They might only take 210 for the property. They might even accept your 150K offer. You have no idea how much your seller is going to accept your offer for. That's why you have to ask. You see, unlike me, I can ask any supermodel out, and I know they all want me because I'm tall, rich, sexy, and famous. But there used to be a day in high school when I wasn't so tall. I was actually kind of short. I wasn't absolutely jacked and handsome. And I used to have to ask girls out besides them all sliding in my DMs. It was a rough time for me. It was freshman year of high school, and I had to get a date for homecoming. Now, naturally, I asked some pretty hot girls out. Some said yes, some said no. I didn't really know where they're gonna be at, but I shot my shot in a way where I had the best chance of success. Now, the moral of the story is just be like Zach. But to be honest, what you can extrapolate from this is you don't know if Susie's gonna say yes. Of course, you would love for her to go out to homecoming with you, but you don't know what her mindset is. Is she into really short, tiny guys like me? Like I'm 6'1" right now, and I was like 5'2" at freshman year in high school. I had a squeaky voice. I didn't sound like the Greek god before you, but still, I got a bunch of yeses because I didn't know they're into me. You just gotta make the shot. You gotta take the offer, and hey, it's sometimes gonna be a no, but trust me, you do enough of them, there's gonna be plenty of yeses and wins along the way. And what I mean is, if you just offer 210 all day, you're gonna get them accepted and some say no, but you'd rather offer 150 and see where they're at. So the moral of the story here is you're supposed to have the offer MAO price really good and then lowball the crap out of them after. And so the method I would probably tell everyone to be doing right now is obviously I would be offering between 70 to about 85%. That's the real sweet spot. Now, honestly, most ARVs aren't 120 or above. What me and Rick have always found is for most of our sellers and buyers, most buyers will take a deal if it's about 76 to 85% of the ARV minus repairs, or ARV minus repairs multiplied by these percentages. It's not really 70%. It's roughly 85 to 76. And this moving numbers always depend on ARV. If ARV is like $1 million, they'll take 85. If ARV is like 220, they'll take probably 76%. But these are the real numbers you need to be at in your own wholesaling business. And remember, when you don't know exactly what the offer price should be, if you're in a weird spot, I always recommend you be the buyer. And what I mean by be the buyer is just pretend you're going to buy the deal. deal. So let's do a quick one. If you sent me a deal where the ARV is $300,000 and it's $60,000 in repairs, that's all I really need to know. So let's pretend that you and I are going to buy this property as a fix and flip. So let's do the math. $240,000 is the number, ARV minus repairs. We are going to go out here and buy it for $240,000. ARV minus repairs is $240,000. This means if a wholesaler is potentially offering me this deal for $180,000, should I take this deal or should I not take this deal? Well, let's run the numbers. If I bought this property for $180K, I put $60,000 into the repairs, I'm all in at about $240,000. Now I'm going to sell the property for $300K and I need to pay 12% on closing costs. So multiply that by 88%, 264. That means my actual net at the end of everything is $24,000. Now between you and me, that's just too low. I mean, making $24,000 on a flip is just too thin of a margin. I probably want to be a little better on this. I'd probably offer the deal for probably around $160,000 if you're mainly underwrite this deal. Now let's say on this deal, repairs were only, let's say $15,000. Yeah, if you bought it for $15,000, this is a slam dunk deal. Now you're at $285. I bought it for let's say $190. Put 15 into it, minus $205. That's a great dang deal for me. So sometimes when the repairs are higher and the ARV is high, or repairs are low, ARV is high, the calculations can move either way, where that 70% rule might be better, the 80% might be better. For most of the time, the 70% rule is not good, but in certain situations where repairs are stupid high, then yes, the percent gets in there. But most properties aren't at crazy $90,000, $100,000 repairs. So you can sometimes be the buyer and do a better calculation here. But the moral of the story here is you should roughly be between 76 and 85% of your ARV minus repair offers for your MAO, but you should offer to the seller crazy lowball offers. A general rule of thumb on a deal like this, if I offered to my seller for 180, I would probably want to lock it up for around 120, 130 and try to make 50 grand. And if they come back and say, I need to buy it for 160, if I locked it up for 130, then sure, I'll just go out here and make 30 grand. No big deal. The problem is when you don't lock it up for a good margin and the buyer comes back, you have nothing you can do except try to renegotiate, and that's probably not going to work. You got to be in that Goldilocks zone where the seller's going to accept your offer and they're not too crazy, but also the buyers are just going to make some money so they keep buying from you. So overall, guys, that is how I make offers in 2026. It's not perfect. It's not a set 70% rule only. 70% rule still works on certain type of calculations, but usually 70, 75, 80, 83, sometimes even 85 will work for you, depending on the situation and the ARV and the repairs. So if you got any value from this video, do me a favor, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe. Let me know what you do in the comments below for your calculations. I'm very curious, and I'll see you guys soon. This is Zach signing out. Have a blessed one.